Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. Welcome to my channel. Every month here on the channel, I do a video on the top games coming to retail. I pick about 25 or so games that are hitting stores or online marketplaces near you. And one of the things I really try to do is include a real diversity of games. I mean, that's one of the best parts of the hobby. There really is a game for everybody out there. I don't care what you're into, there's a game for you. And so, try to have some heavy games, some kids games, some party games, and sort of everything in between. Every game on this list has been confirmed by the publisher, and I don't include the game in the video if it hasn't been confirmed by the publisher. I just want to hear it from them that it's actually coming out this month. That keeps the sort of pushes and delays to a minimum. So for instance, I think Windmill Valley from Board and Dice is coming out this month, but I didn't hear back from them, so it's not here. I think Celte from Mayfair is probably coming out at the end of the month, but I'm not including it right now. So all of these games have been confirmed by the publisher. So let's get into it. Here are some of the best games coming to stores near you. First up for June, I've got Agueda, City of Umbrellas from 25th Century Games. This is a lighter weight game, plays 1 to 5 players in 20 to 40 minutes. And it is based on the city of Agueda, Portugal, that has this yearly festival of all of these cool, brightly colored umbrellas. And you are recreating that in tabletop form. One thing to note is that 25th Century Games did work with the Umbrella Sky project to illustrate the box cover, to incorporate their annual tourist maps into the game, and for cultural consultancy. So they did try to do right by the theme of the game. In the game, you are drafting these little umbrella pieces and then placing them into your own personal rows and scoring points for getting certain umbrellas in certain roles. You'll have these little tourist meeples that you can assign to different spots to get benefits. So, it has a bit of that sort of Azul Sagrada sort of feel to it. Bright colors, beautiful components, and, puzzly but easy to teach enough gameplay. So I haven't played it yet myself, but it is one that I want to try for sure. I like pretty games like this, and it's cool to learn about a theme, a topic that I didn't know anything about, but the pictures of that Umbrella Festival look amazing. So yeah, that's an art installation I would love to see at some point in real life. But for now, I can see it here at my house. 25th Century Games is also releasing the game Mutton Bustin. This plays 2 to 4 players in 15 to 25 minutes, and it is a lightweight party-ish game. It's definitely a very silly game. And one of the things that attracts me is that a lot of silly games are higher player count games. You need 6, 7, 8 players to make the game real silly. This is a silly game that plays well with 2 or 3 players. You will be frantically rolling dice. Every turn, one player is the active player, and you're rolling a normal d6 and trying to push your luck and get around the board as far as you can. The other players are rolling these other dice that have mostly blank faces on them, but some of them have faces that will make you fall off the sheet or essentially bust your turn. And if the other players can get 6 of those faces on their dice before you yell stop, before you end your turn, then you've busted and you don't get any points. But if you can stop at the right point and pay attention to how many of those faces on dice are out there, then you can stop and keep your points and stuff. You also have to it's not just about rolling that specific face on the die. You also have to do an action in order for that die to sort of count, and all of those actions are very silly, funny things, you roll that die and then you have to yell, yeehaw, or something dumb and fun like that. So if you like silly, if you like dice rolling, then Mutton Busting might be for you. Allplay is releasing the party game Things in Rings. This plays 2 to 6 players in 15 to 20 minutes. Things in Rings is a little bit like a 20 questions type of game. There are literally strings that create rings on the board that look like a Venn diagram. You are putting a Venn diagram out on the board, and each of those rings has a rule associated with it, and all the other players are trying to figure out the rule. One player knows the rule and gets to put cards into the appropriate rings, and everybody else is trying to figure out the rules so they can place their cards in the right rings. Each circle has its own sort of parameters. One circle will be based on sort of like the spelling of the word or something. Maybe it's the rule is like everything starts with the letter S or something like that. Another ring will have physical properties. You know, it might be like this weighs more than a house or something like that. And then the other ring, the third ring, has sort of like the rules relate to like the uses of the objects or its cultural importance, you know, things that are dangerous or something like that. And so, yeah, you are just trying to figure out all of the right rings, and if you can get rid of your cards first, the fastest, then you're going to win the game. And you need to be able to, you know, pick the right spots to put them to get rid of them. So yeah, if you like association games, if you like party games, then Things in Rings. I did have a chance to play that one at a convention earlier this year, and it's a lot of fun. You know, it's a lot of fun trying to figure out. Sometimes you'll even like be wrong, but you still place the things in the right spot where you're like, oh, this is definitely the rule, and you just got lucky and you put stuff down, and then they're like, that's not the rule, and you're like, well, I don't care, I still won. You know? Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Amigo Games is releasing the card game Cabanga. That's one of the most fun words to say. I've never played this game, but boy, I'm going to walk around my house just saying Cabanga. Cabanga. 3 to 6 players, plays in 20 minutes, and it is a lightweight card game. In the game, you are trying to get rid of your cards as quickly as possible. You're trying to be the first to get rid of your cards. There are 4 discard piles, each with a different color suit, and they will have certain numbers next to the discard pile. And you can play a card from your hand, and you want to ideally be as close to possible as the other card in the discard pile. So for instance, I've got a blue card and I'm going to play it right here. And there is a 14 in the discard pile and a 4 in the discard pile. So it would be bad of me to put like a 5 over the 4, because then the gap between the 14 and the 5, if someone else can play in that gap, I take penalty cards. But if I put the 5 over the 14 and now there's a 5 and a 4, nobody can play. There's literally no gap for somebody to play, so I know I'm safe and I won't take any penalty cards. And so, you know, it's just about figuring out clever ways to play your hand so you don't take these penalty cards. So you know, but sometimes you have to take risks, right? Sometimes you're like, man, I got so many high cards in my hand, I gotta just do it now, you know? Something like that. So yeah, if you want to say Cabanga way too often and annoy your roommates or your family, then get Cabanga. It's the only way it'll make sense to just say Cabanga over and over. Alright, the Arcade Wonders is releasing the game Super Kawaii Pets. This plays 1 to 4 players in 10 to 20 minutes, and it is another lightweight card game. Super Kawaii Pets comes with very adorable artwork, so if you're a fan of adorable art in your game, then this might be for you. It's a set collection game, and you are trying to rescue pets and turn them from sad to happy, you know? I think that's a theme most of us can get behind, that we want pets to be happy and not bummed out all the time. And so you're drafting these cards, and basically you need specific cards to then be able to flip other cards from their sad side to their happy side. So you need to be able to draft those cards and play them to flip the cards. So it's, again, a lightweight card game where you're just trying to get the things you need, and certain pets are going to be worth certain amount of points based on flipping them. So maybe you want to go for higher value ones. There's also objectives in the game. There's some objective cards, and those will change for replayability. So you're not just scoring points for flipping your own pets, but you're also trying to accomplish certain public objectives. So yeah, it's all about happy pets. Bezier Games is releasing 2 trick-taking games this month. I'm a big fan of trick-taking games, and I can say I have played both of these and like them both a lot for different reasons. The first I'll talk about is Sandbag. Sandbag plays 3 to 6 players in about 30 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. I like trick-taking games, and I will say about Sandbag, this is a game that is great for people who already know trick-taking game. It's a weird trick-taking game. It's a unique trick-taking game, and I mean that in a good way, but I also mean that in a way that this is not the game I would introduce people to trick-taking. If you have friends or family that already like trick-taking games, then definitely introduce them to this one, because there's some unique concepts. The whole idea of the game is that you're trying not to win tricks. That's not the most unique thing. But the trump suit can change in the middle of the round. People will have cards face up in front of them, and whichever suit is shown the most is the trump card. But there are ways that you can play a card from in front of somebody else, which then maybe eliminates a certain color in front of people, and now it changes the trump suit in the middle of the hand, So you're like, oh, you thought you were getting rid of this high card on an off suit, and now I just made that suit the trump suit, and now you're winning it, and I just cleverly figured out how to screw you and make you take this hand when you thought you were just sloughing off a card right now. And so, yeah, it's a little bit tricky to teach because it is so unique in a trick-taking game, but it is a cool, unique trick-taking game. It's one that I probably would rather play at 5 or 6 players than I would at 3 players, so keep that in mind. But yeah, if you like trick-taking games, it's worth checking out. And then the other trick-taking game that Bezier is releasing is the game Xylotar, and this one is a good one to use to teach trick-taking to new players. It combines trick-taking card stuff with some light deduction in a really fun and unique way. I actually put Xylotar in my top games of the month on a previous month because I've liked it that much. Plays 2 to 5 players in 30 minutes. The interesting thing, you won't see all the cards in your hand. Your cards are face down in front of you, but the backs of the cards give you ranges and suits that the card will be in. And okay, if this card is right here in the middle of my lineup of cards, and it says 0 to 4 on it, then I know everything below this has to be lower, a 4 or lower. And so you're learning about your hand as you're playing cards, and then it does the normal trick-taking thing where you're trying to predict how many tricks you can win, and if you can hit your bid, then you're gonna get extra points and stuff. But it's really fun trying to deduce what your hand is while you're playing and in the middle of the game. So yeah, if you like trick-taking games, that one's for sure worth checking out as well. Big Potato Games is releasing the party game Dumb Questions to Ask Your Friends. I had a chance to see this one being played at a game night recently. I didn't actually get to play it myself, and it's one that I would not have given a closer look to without watching other people playing it and having a great time. Everybody left playing this game having a great time, and now I really want to play it. It plays 3 to 8 players in about 20 minutes. I think I didn't understand what the game was from the brief description until I watched it being played a little bit. And so what happens is there are 5 questions, and only one of them is face up, and everybody answers that question. And one player, the active player, has their eyes closed, doesn't get to see what everybody else is answering. And then they flip over, you shuffle the questions back up, and they flip over, and they're trying to figure out which question you were answering. and they have to sort of assign it to how likely it was that you were answering that question, like in the moment. So if they put something like, oh, this is the most likely, and then something comes up that's even more likely, well, they're screwed because they already took the most likely spot. But it just makes it really, really funny to see how your answers line up to questions that weren't asked. You know, a question might be like, what is the food you would most likely eat out of the garbage can? And then, you know, maybe another question is like, what's the food you're most likely to serve at Thanksgiving dinner? And you're like, oh man, that's so funny that I said half-eaten pizza and that's what you're serving on Thanksgiving. You know, it's just it's full of laughs for sure. If you like party games, then dumb questions to ask your friends is one I want to play now that I watched other people playing it. Blue Orange Games is releasing the game Red Lolly, Yellow Lolly. This is a game for young children, so if you are looking for games for your young kids, this plays 2 to 6 players, and they say plays ages 7 and up, but I really feel like you could play this with younger than 7. So there is a big lollipop in the game that lights up different colors, and you are trying to match whatever color is on the lollipop with a card that is out in front of you and say sort of, oh, that's a yellow puppy right there, and then the color here is yellow, so if I could say yellow puppy, and you're just trying to do that without getting tongue twisted, without getting tongue tied to sort of match the thing. And then if you mess up, then someone else grabs the lollipop from you and the lollipop is passing around, and it's, you know, it's silly and fun. So if you want like a big physical thing to play with your young children, then red I mean, even the name it gets you tongue tied. Red Lolly, Yellow Lolly. Red Lolly, Yellow Lolly. Red Lolly, Yellow. That is hard to say fast for sure. Exploding Kittens is releasing the party game Why Are You Like This? Which is a fun name for sure. They do note that this plays 2+ players. It's hard to find a good party game for 2 or 3 players, so I hope this is cool at 2 players. Plays in about 15 minutes. It is a card guessing game where you're talking, you're drawing, you're gesturing, you're pantomiming, but you also have to do all those things with needlessly weird restrictions. So if you like games where you're getting up and doing physical things like, Pictionary or charades or something like that, then Why Are You Like This is meant to be a type of game like that, but with silly, funny restrictions on top of it. So maybe you have to act something out while standing on one leg or something like that. I don't know. I haven't played the game before. But if you like party games, if you like big physical things, then check out Why Are You Like This from Exploding Kittens. Flat River Group, in association with Card Lords, is releasing the game Wedding Countdown. This plays 2 to 7 players in about 5 to 15 minutes, and it is a lightweight card game. The whole idea behind Wedding Countdown is it is a game that you can give away as party gifts at a wedding. It's a game you can put on the table at weddings so people have something to do while they're waiting for you to finish taking your 50 million pictures wedding party. And so, it's a small box, just a little card game, and it's just a drawing playing game. Each player will have 9 cards face down in front of them, and you'll start the game by flipping over 2 cards publicly. You'll draw a card, and then you are deciding whether to get rid of that card and flip over a new card, or you can replace a card with the card you just drew. If you can get pairs next to each other, those take away from your score, and you're trying to have the least points at the end. So it's just 9 cards, and you're just replacing stuff. But every card in the game represents one step closer to the big day. It's all the things you do to get ready for your wedding. Dress shopping, cake tasting, all of that sort of stuff that you have to do to get ready for a wedding. And there's a lot of it. then this is all about that. So if you want like a little wedding gift, I've actually had people ask me like on my TikTok channel before, like, what's a good game for a wedding? Well, I feel like this is what I'm going to recommend in the future. It's purposely made for that. Flat River Group, in association with Greater Than Games, is releasing the game License to Grill. This plays 3 to 5 players in 30 to 60 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. I like the theme of License to Grill. It is about a bunch of grill masters having to use the same grill and to prepare meats and vegetables and all that sort of stuff on the same grill. And it is at its core, it's a polyomino game. You are placing polyomino tiles onto this grill, but thematically, you have to do multiple things. It's not just the grilling, it's like the seasoning, the preparation, the grilling, the letting it rest, like all of those things. You have to sort of move this polyomino piece around to different parts of the game. You got to move it to the preparation part, and you got to move it to the grill part, and all that stuff. You will be selecting the thing you want to grill, and then you'll be moving cubes along that card. Everything you want to grill is represented by a card, and you'll be putting cubes and moving things along. And each thing has, points associated with how long you let it do certain things. Like a, steak. If you're grilling steak, like, you don't want it to be too underdone, but you also don't want it to be too overdone. So you're going to get less points if it's here, you're going to get less points if you take it off here, but if you put it right in the middle, you're going to get the most points possible. And so you're just doing things, you're managing different stuff to grill in different parts of the preparation phase in order to score the most points. So yeah, if you like, this feels obviously very thematic with summer right around the corner, and so I guess it's already summer. Technically, I don't know, but I'm hot. I'm hot right now here in my studio under the lights. So I guess it's summer because I'm sweating right now. But, grilling definitely associate with the summer. So if you want a summer themed game, then check out License to Grill. Flat River Group, in association with Yellow, is releasing the game Flip Circus. This is a 2-player only game, plays in about 15 minutes, and it is a lightweight game. There are a bunch of tokens, and they have different characters on each side of the token, and so each of the types of characters, they represent different people in the circus, and each of the types of characters is going to have special abilities. And so you are using those special abilities to move tokens around, to get people into the right place, and also trying to remember who was on the other side of the token, because if you can get 3 artists of the same type next to each other, then you get to collect their portrait from the poster, and if you collect 3 portraits, you win the game. And so there is definitely a memory of like, ooh, I'm going to swap these 2, and then I'm going to flip this over, and now I got those 3 next to each other. But it is, again, a 15-minute game, so it's one that's easy to reset and replay if you didn't do that well. If you were like, I remembered nothing. Well, try it again. Play it again. Flat River Group, in association with Ludonate, is releasing the game Popcom. This is a party game, plays 4 to 14 players in about 20 minutes. And in the game, you are working for an advertising agency. You are junior ad executives or something like that, and you are trying to come up with the best ads for stuff. And so at the end, at the start of every round, one player is gonna sort of reveal what the campaign is for, and it'll be like, what does this acronym stand for? And then you have some time to kind of write some things down and come up with what you think the acronym stands for, and then you're going to pitch that idea. You're going to pitch what you came up with. You're going to pitch your ad. You're going to pitch your campaign. You're going to pitch your idea to the active player, and then the active player gets to pick 2 answers that they like, which I like, that you get to pick 2 instead of just 1. You get to award your favorite one 2 points and your second favorite one 1 point. And so it's just about coming up with clever stuff. Are you clever? Then play Popcom. Ooh, that's a clever name, Popcom? That's got to mean something. I don't know what it means. I'm not that smart. But it means something. I'll tell you that. Flat River Group, in association with Matago, is releasing Evenfall. This is a game that I feel like got a decent amount of attention at Essen last year, and I saw some people talking about it online and things like that. So it's one that I'm interested in playing. Plays 1 to 4 players in 60 to 120 minutes, and it is a medium weight game, maybe even on the higher end of medium weight. There's going to be witches' covens in the game. There's clans of magic are preparing for a new era. But more than anything, it is an engine building sort of card comboing game. If you like engine building, if you like figuring out card combos, then this one might be for you. You have to manage your resources, execute your actions in an efficient order, and discover card and action synergies that generate victory points. And one of the reasons I love games with card combos is I always feel like there's a lot of replayability in those games, right? When you discover a cool combination, you're like, oh man, I feel so good right now. I want to play this more. I want to discover more card combos. So the game ends after 3 rounds, and the player with the most points wins. Whoa! Points win you the game? Who would have thought? But yeah, again, I like engine building. I like card combos. So and the cover, I love that cover of Evenfall too, and the art and stuff like that looks real cool. So yeah, it's one I want to play for sure. Flat River Group, in association with Playpunk, is releasing the game Captain Flip. This plays 2 to 5 players in 20 minutes, and it is a lighter weight game. In Captain Flip, you are building your sort of pirate crew. You are doing it by reaching into a bag and pulling out a token and adding it to your ship. Each token, each character is going to have different special abilities. And when you draw a tile, you can either place it in your ship as you see it, or you can flip it over and hope there's something better on the other side for you. But once you flip it over, you're stuck with that new side. And so, things are going to score for being next to other things, for being in certain points, in certain parts of the ship, in certain places, that sort of stuff. But it's really all about that draw a tile and flip it if you have the guts to flip it, So I think that's it's a simple hook, but a fun, sort of exciting hook for a 20-minute game. And, I like pirate-themed stuff, and this is definitely a sort of cute theme, pirate-themed stuff. So if you like that, then check it out. Grand Gamers Guild is releasing the party game Words of a Feather. This plays 3 to 8 players in 15 to 30 minutes. I will say Words of a Feather is sort of all about the table presence. It is for a party game, it is a big table presence game. And it looks really good on the table. It is all these peacock feathers, and you have a sort of ceramic bowl at the center with these gem sort of things in it. And in the game, an active player, is giving 3 clues. You're giving 2 clues by using cards that look like peacock feathers, and then you can add any clue of your choice. So, if the cards were season and eve, and I gave the clue holiday, yeah, then that's Christmas. You've got it. And you're going to get points for everybody that gets the word. One thing to note, I've heard from people online, is the game is decently easy, because you can add one clue of your choosing, that it's pretty easy to get people to guess what you want. But maybe that is something you want. Maybe other word association games feel too challenging to teach new people or something like that, and you want a game that feels a little bit easier for people to get the associations, then maybe Words of a Feather is for you. And again, it looks really great on the table for sure. Grand Gamers Guild is releasing The Fog Escape from Paradise. I I made a video a couple of years ago for the Kickstarter campaign for The Fog, and I'll tell you, this game really surprised me in a good way. It was one I liked a lot more than I thought I was going to like. And I don't mean that in any bad way, I just didn't have any expectations for it, and then I was like, oh, this game's amazing, I really like this game. It plays 1 to 4 players in 45 to 75 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. In the game, you are moving these, I guess, villagers, villagers of this island. You're moving the villagers of the island, trying to get them onto boats to save them, because a fog is advancing, and this is not just a fog that like reduces visibility. This is a fog that kills people, and you don't want them to get trapped in the fog. You're not like, oh, slow down. You're like, get out of there, you're gonna die. Every turn, the fog is advancing. The thing that makes the game really interesting and different is that you put all of the villagers on the board at the beginning, but villagers aren't related, aren't associated with any player. And then you all draft the villagers that are on the board. You draft the villagers that are out there. And villagers are each of them are gonna have special movement powers. They're each gonna want to get into certain ships. They're gonna be starting a certain distance away from the fog. So that drafting aspect feels very different than other games to me. You're drafting the people you're trying to save. And then there's you have action points, and you're using those action points to move people, and people have different special abilities where they can jump over something, or they can squeeze through something, or, that sort of stuff. It's interesting, it's cool. And, people are lost, for sure. You can't save everybody from the fog, and you're going to get negative points for each person you lose to the fog, and so there is some real tension to the game, because the fog always advances whether you want it to or not. The fog waits for no person. So yeah, that's The Fog: Escape from Paradise. Grand Gamers Guild is also releasing the game Tirnanog. This plays 1 to 5 players in 30 to 45 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. Tirnanog is from Irish mythology. Tirnanog is the realm of the other world. And they did work with a cultural consultant on this game as well to make sure that they got the lore and the myth of Tirnanog correct. But it is a bit of a puzzly game. There's a grid of cards that you can sort of draft from, but you are drafting by placing a meeple in between different cards out there. And so all players are going to place all their meeples, and then you're placing a meeple in between 2 cards, and then you can draft either one of those cards. And then you're going to pick up that card into your hand, and then each of us have 3 rows, and we're playing cards into those rows and scoring points based on where cards are positioned, where they're located next to other cards. And certain cards, when you play them down, are going to have special abilities. Oh, you can move a card that you already placed, or you can switch the columns, the rows of the card, and stuff like that. But you are trying to get certain cards into certain positions. So there's a lot of gorgeous artwork on the cards in the game, for sure, too. So if you like if you like fairies and myths and stuff like that, and heroes on quests, then there's a lot of cool art to explore in the game. And, just an interesting, puzzly card placement sort of tableau building game. And thematically, you are, you're doing stories based on the other world, I like that. I like that aspect of it. And the highest score wins in this game, too. Oh my god. It's like they've made a game before. Hachette, in association with Randolph, is releasing the game Seaside. This plays 1 to 5 players in about 20 minutes, and it is a lightweight game. I really like Seaside. I actually put it in my top 5 games of March. because I got an early copy of it. And the game is literally meant to be played at a beach or in a park or camping or something like that. It comes with, the whole game is just tokens in a bag, and they are chunky tokens, so they're not going to blow away in the wind. They're not going to, get lost super easily. And so I like that aspect of it because it feels like the right game for a particular moment, for a particular situation. It's very easy to teach. It plays very quickly. And all you're doing in the game, you're drawing a token from the bag, and then you're looking at both sides of it and deciding how you want to play that token. And there's a bunch of different ways to score points in the game, and different things are going to score you points in different ways. If you have beach tokens, then every time you draw a beach token, you can take that many seashells from the middle pot right here. Or if you have multiple crabs, you can, or crab habitats, you can then take crabs from the center. Like, you're doing a bunch of different things to score points, and at the end, all you have to do is just stack up your tokens and push them up to another person's stack, and whoever has a higher stack wins the game. If you got more tokens than other people, then you win the game. So it's really easy to teach, but it's one we've played a lot in my house because it is sort of that perfect filler game. It's, hey, I got 15 minutes before I'm going to do something else. Anybody want to play Seaside real quick? And so we've done a lot of it because of that reason. And I like pulling stuff out of bags too. That's always exciting to me. I don't know why, but it's fun to pull stuff out of the bag and hope you get what you need. Seaside does work for, they say, ages 8 and up, so it works as a family game as well. So yeah, I really like it. Seaside. The company Horrible Adorables is releasing their first game to retail, Familiars and Foes. I also made a video for their campaign a year and a half ago or something like that, and it's a really nice family weight cooperative game. It plays 1 to 5 players in about 20 to 90 minutes, and it is that lighter medium weight category. The artwork in it is adorable, it's bright, it's fun, there's a lot of different characters. You each play as an elemental familiar, and each of those familiars has their own sort of unique abilities. They'll have their own physical attacks, their own spells they can use, and you really do need to cooperate together. There are waves of bad guys, and the bad guys get tougher and tougher as you go down the waves, and so you'll need to work together to defeat the bad guys. And then the other thing is, people can lend you help to boost your actions, to boost the things that you're to do. So if you're like, I don't think I can beat this guy on my own, well, someone else can come along and help boost you up, and so you can beat the bad guy. So you really need some group strategy, some working together. I like cooperative games where you actually have to cooperate, and this is one of those types of games. So yeah, the foes have their own turn as well, where they can release devastating attacks on the familiars, so they're going to fight back. So you're going to take some damage, but you got to work together to beat them. So if you like cooperative games, if you like cute artwork and fun, bright boards and stuff like that, then check out Familiars and Foes. Prolific Games is releasing the game Lumberjacks with rocket launchers. And yes, you did hear that right. Lumberjacks with rocket launchers. Plays 3 to 8 players in 15 to 20 minutes, and it is a lightweight card game. This is a take that card game that is exactly what it sounds like. You are lumberjacks, and there are going to be rockets that are sort of going around the board targeting different players, and you are trying to get out of having rockets attack you. And if you have too many rockets pointed at you, you're going to explode, and you're going to be out of the game and eliminated. And so you're just playing cards to screw each other over and hope you sneak by. Your cards can sometimes eliminate rockets in play. They can modify rockets in play. They can add rockets to play, all of that sort of stuff. So You are just, if you have 3 rockets aimed at you, you are blown up and out. So if you like Take That card games, then Lumberjacks with rocket launchers is the Take That card game with a fun theme. Garphill Games, in association with Renegade Game Studios, is releasing the game Ezra and Nehemiah. This is a heavyweight game that plays 1 to 4 players in 90 to 120 minutes. If you are aware of Garphill Games' games from the past, they make very deeply strategic worker placement games. They've sort of found their niche, and they've got other things as well, but that is certainly what they have gotten to be known for, is deeply strategic worker placement games. And this is no different. This is a game where you are using your hand of cards, you're using workers to go out to spots, and you're using resources to do your part in rebuilding the great city of Jerusalem. You will be playing cards down in front of you, and the banners on the cards will determine how powerful the action is that you get to do. And you will then be, the game or a round is 6 days, and then you have to rest on the Sabbath, which is thematic here. But you're playing 6 cards, so you have 3 spots to play cards. So then you're going to be covering up cards and changing the banners that are available to you to, make certain actions more powerful than the other. Each color of a banner is going to get you a different action and determine the power of that action. As with any heavier weight game, there is a lot going on in the game. I can't really get into all the mechanisms and stuff here, but just know there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of strategy to be had, and a lot of things to discover, right? I feel like with any Garphill Games' game, you want to play it multiple times because you want to figure out the strategy and different paths to victory, and there are multiple viable strategies and paths to victory. So, it's if you want a heavyweight game, that's our big heavyweight game for the month here in June. We've had a lot of lighter weight games. This has been a lighter weight. I guess everybody's just ready for like popcorn summer, right? This is like the season of summer blockbuster movies and not the heavy like Oscar winners. It feels like that in games right now. We got a lot of lighter weight games right now. People are just trying to have a breezy start to summer. But if you are looking for a heavyweight game, then Ezra and Nehemiah is your real option this month. Skybound Tabletop is releasing the party game Contrabanter. This plays 2 to 15 players in 20 to 40 minutes, and it is a lighter weight party game. But it is a party game that maybe is like a little bit harder than some other party games. I have played this one, and you are trying to have a conversation with your teammates and slip words into the conversations. You have a set of words that you're trying to get into the conversation, and the other team is listening to you and trying to call you out, trying to call out the words they think weren't words you would have normally said in that situation. If they are not right, then you have to do a second round using the same words, so it gets progressively harder to slip those things in. And, the words they're not like crazy words, but they're also maybe, not words that you would use all the time. It's like, man, I'm not shivering in here. It's really hot in here. Oh, shiver was one of my words. Ha ha ha, And so you do feel clever and stuff when you get, when you slip it in and the round ends and you're like, ha ha ha, you guys didn't get it. We're perfect. And sometimes you just start throwing in random words into your story anyways, just to try to throw them off, It's a word smuggling game. So it's a little bit of like an improv game where you are just improvising a conversation, but you're improvising a conversation based on a topic that the other team gives you. This is a topic based on cars, and so you're just having a conversation about cars, but trying to slip these words in. So if you like improv games, if you like conversation games, then Contrabanter might be for you. And team-based games. It's a team-based game because you're trying to slip your words in and catch the other team slipping their words in. Smirk and Dagger is releasing the game Adventure Party. I guess the full name is Adventure Party, the role-playing party game. This plays 3 to 8 players in 30 to 60 minutes, and it is a lighter weight game. I don't play a lot of role-playing games myself because I am somebody that is always sort of teaching games, driving games, and while I enjoy playing role-playing games, and I play them occasionally when other people invite me, I don't want to put the work into lead role-playing games, which just means that I don't play them as much as I play board games. But I feel like Adventure Party is a great way to dip your toes into the world of role-playing without having to get deep into like a years-long campaign, because it takes some of the ideas of role-playing games and boils them down to a 30, 60-minute session. So it's a cooperative game, and it's a storytelling game. And one player is going to roll a d20 behind a privacy screen and then essentially describe what happened in the story based on the dice result, and then everybody else is guessing what they think that dice result is. So if you are, climbing a wall and you roll a 20, then not only did you get to the top of the wall, you found $1 million and the love of your life at the top of the wall. And if you rolled a 1, you didn't even make it to the wall. You slipped and went into a coma walking up to the wall. And so then what's a 12? It's like you were climbing the wall and a hand slipped away and there was a tense moment, but then you got your hand back on the wall and you kept climbing and you got to the top and you were expecting a reward, but there wasn't really any reward, but you still got to the top and your reward was getting to the top, I guess. And then everybody has to discuss what they think that is, and the closer people are to the actual dice roll, the more points we'll get, the more experience point we'll get as a party, as an adventure party, and the more points we get by the end, the better we're doing in the game. And so, yeah, if you like coming up, this was a game I'm really excited to play more because I like storytelling. I like being able to have a role-playing feel without this sort of bigger commitment of a full role-playing game, and so Adventure Party is one I'm excited for all of those reasons. Third World Studios is releasing the game Charcuterie, the board game. This right now is in Barnes & Noble. It will most likely be coming to friendly local game stores in like August, but right now it is just in Barnes & Noble. So if you want it, you can get it there. Plays 2 to 6 players in 10 to 30 minutes. And it is a drafting game and a tableau building game, but based on charcuterie. And so you are literally drafting different meats and cheeses and fruits and things like that, and then adding them to your own charcuterie board, and you're going to score points based on how things are placed. If this is placed next to this, it's going to score points, or if this is on the opposite side of this. And there's, objective cards that are sort of going to determine how your charcuterie board scores. But, certainly the reasons to play this game is the table presence of the game. The charcuterie boards and stuff look really cool. It's fun. When I say that there's a game out there for everybody, this is the type of thing I mean, where there's like, what a unique theme for a game. And yeah, I'm glad that there are games about wizards, but I'm also glad there's games about cheese, because how many people do you know that love like charcuterie boards when they're going wine tasting? This is the game to play with them. This is the game to sort of introduce them to games and stuff. So, it's a game that I'm glad exists thematically, and I also like drafting games. I like puzzly placement games, and so I'm excited for it for all of those different reasons. Wise Wizard Games started a new sort of line of games, a brand underneath their brand called Wacky Wizard, because Wise Wizard is known for games like Star Realms, and they wanted to sort of start a party game line, and the first release in that Wacky Wizard party game line is the game Caution Signs. Plays 3 to 9 players in 20 to 30 minutes, and it is a lightweight party game. It is a drawing game, but you don't have to be good at drawing because everybody has 20 seconds to draw. So I don't care how good you are, nobody's good at drawing in this game. You just don't have time to be good at drawing. And you are drawing a combination of sort of an adjective and a noun. And then everybody's going to draw those things and put them out in the center, and you're going to add some extra cards from the deck, flip them over, and then the active player has to basically assign the words to the right drawing. You're like, I don't know, is that a confused squirrel? It seems maybe like that one's a confused squirrel, and ooh, okay, over there, that's an aggressive tiger. I get that one, and you're just sort of, a gassy monkey, a flexible cow, a stylish rhino. How do you draw that sort of stuff? And it's always full of laughs because, again, you only have 20 seconds to draw it. So, like, a stylish rhino, maybe? Is that what you were trying to draw? I don't know. If you like games like Telestrations or Doodle Dash or stuff like that, then I feel like Caution Signs is a game you will like as well. So, that's what I got for this month. That is 27 of the best games coming to retail here in June. Thanks so much for being here. I'll be at some conventions coming up. I'll be at Origins Game Fair. I'll be doing some comedy shows there. So if you come check out my shows at Origins, I'll be one of the special guests at Dice Tower East. I'll be doing comedy shows there, and you can also sign up to play games with me. I will be at the World Series of Board Games in the fall, in September, so definitely come to the World Series of Board Games as well. I've got a discount code for that I will put in the description of this video. And if you want to support me, if you want to support the channel, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/GrantsGameRex, and I really appreciate everybody subscribing, liking, sharing these videos, and I always hope that you find a game that you're excited about here. Thanks so much.